Yeah.
That's a banger.
I can't get over B-Turn sitting in a haunted house. I love it.
Easter Edge of Hell. It's right by your old studio.
It's because it's going to get dark in Manhattan on Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
They're going to get angry. They get mean.
That's the only way you can play.
Shout out, Jose. Remember to like and subscribe. Yeah, so we're back. We've been just horrible fans, horrible podcasters. We basically, KU football started collapsing and we just ran and hid. And I don't regret it one bit. I have had no desire to get on and talk about this football season. It's one of the more depressing. I just couldn't. It got worse, and then it kept getting worse and getting worse and worse and worse. But here we are. We finally won a game. We finally looked like the team we wanted to look like, and now we're back. We're podcasting. That's the joy of doing whatever you want. We're going to podcast when it's fun and convenient. So, boys, how are you? How you feeling? At what point in this episode are we going to start convincing ourselves not only that we're beating K-State, but we could still win out? And
oh God.
You know,
well, AB. It sounds like AB is going to get to that point at some time in this podcast, but yeah, obviously the year hasn't gone how we hoped. I have been a terrible fan. Also, Rye, you got married, had a honeymoon. That plays a part in not doing the pod. I want us three to do it together. So congrats to you. We were all able to make it 5 minutes after we blew a 11-point lead to West Virginia with 2 minutes left, and the Hawks were minus 5,000 live.
Yeah.
And then it just hurt. But yeah, it stinks because obviously we know how they've lost. I mean, it's basically been all one possession games. Can't get key stops, can't recover fumbles. Just they've lost in the most insane ways. And if you talk to any KU fan, and I don't care about other fan bases, like you can make the case for 5-2. You can make the case for, you can make a 6-1 case. I don't like. It's been coin flip games, and some of the flukiest things have happened. Obviously,
it really is.
We don't have to get into the OC stuff, but like it felt like we should have went 3-0 non-con, and it feels like we should have at max 2 Big 12 losses. Should have at least split the West Virginia, Arizona State games, and then the TCU game was just an absolute shit show. I mean, you missed the block in the back. You had the Lawrence Arnold caught the ball. A ref from the stands comes in saying incomplete. Lance had a heyday on the refs after the game, but I don't know, dude. I don't know how they're 2-5. I just like
have best 2-5 team in the country, right? End zone.
Here's the thing, Braden. They're 2-5, and JD's played every snap of the season. Can you believe that?
AB said that to me before we recorded, and it made me even more depressed because it's like, imagine us 8 weeks ago being like, JD's healthy. We're heading into Manhattan. We just won 42-14. Kobe Bryant just had 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that JD's been healthy, and it's we are 2-5.
Never crossed our mind. I mean, we said worst case we'd be 5-2 going into this game. We were talking game day.
The thing that sucks about this, and we need to move on. But I've been gone a while. I haven't had.
We've been on for 5 minutes, Ryan. Just let it all out.
The thing that sucks is I've always been pretty. Last year you guys gave me shit because we said what's best case scenario, and I said, what did I say? 9 wins, 8 wins, something hilariously low. Because I've always been hesitant to get my hopes up for Kansas football. I've never allowed myself to do it. And this year I come in like I am so fired up. I'm convinced we have a shot to legitimately go 11-1, 10-2. And they just stomp all over me and laugh about it. Like, I never saw this coming. Was
They're
not
laughing.
on my radar at all.
No, and I was just thinking while you said that, like, I don't know if my hopes have ever been higher for KU football besides maybe because we didn't really know what was coming that Orange Bowl year. But maybe the year after when Briscoe and Reesing were back, but obviously they still lost a lot of guys. I don't know if I've ever been this excited. So, and you got Haney and Goff telling people it's the most anticipated season in KU football history. Like, that got me even more excited. Their win total was 8. They were up there in the odds list to make it to the Big 12 title. And they're not getting blown out in these games. It's just epic collapses late in the games. And I was leaving the TCU game, and we obviously haven't talked since then, but like, what would you guys have said had happened if I told you we were going to start the season 2-5? Like, before the season, if I said KU's going to start 2-5, what would you guys have? What would immediately have came to your head or brain? That, like, JD's hurt, obviously, has to be one.
I can't say what I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, JD's hurt. I think Devin Neal's hurt in that. I would have thought in that scenario. I don't know. I mean, it like I said, I truly didn't ever even the UNLV loss, I will never get over. I cannot, and I know I don't even know what UNLV's done these last few weeks, but
they got a huge game Saturday. I think are they undefeated? They have Boise State this weekend.
They lost one game. They lost to Syracuse.
So yeah. I mean, UNLV, whatever. I'm not going to try to justify losing to UNLV, but Illinois is good. I've felt a little better about Illinois. West Virginia, just the way they lost. I've not even seen the highlight. We should tell that story later, but I was literally standing at the altar as KU was melting down in that game.
I was in New York for the Royals game during the Arizona State game. So it was kind of different. I didn't get to watch a ton of it, but I wanted to ask you guys, what was going through your head, because it just felt like the same movie over and over. It was
the most obvious script I've ever seen in my life. It didn't matter where you were watching from. You could tell that team was not going to get a stop. And then what did we score? We score with 2 minutes left or whatever. It was immediately after we got excited, it was oh, wait, no, we lost, because you just knew that defense wasn't getting to stop. So I don't know. I mean, maybe we shouldn't sit here and rehash the last 6 weeks because we're bad fans, but
I just don't get it, man. I don't know how it's possible to be 2-5. I feel like any competent program would find a way to win just 1 or 2 of those games that they lost.
What was the tweet? It's 1 in 75,000 or something that would happen 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and you talked about the UNLV game and the West Virginia game, and I know our fans wanted to do more than make a bowl, and so did our players, but one of those games could be the difference between making a bowl game. And I know, like I just said, it's not the goal, but it'd be the first time in program history they make 3 straight. Now you're 2-5, and you got to go 4-1 to end the season.
And soft schedule at least 3 top 15 teams.
Yeah, at K-State, Iowa State, at BYU, Colorado.
Which, by the way, Iowa State will be a road game.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we're really going at K-State. We're playing in Iowa State's home city, and at BYU. Is that the third one?
Just a wagon somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 3-4, you might have a chance because you got to go 3-2. Is that right? But 3-4 that wouldn't even excite me. But it feels insane that we're not at least 3-4.
I don't want to be are you saying 3 meaning we'd be at 5 wins and get into a bowl?
No, I'm saying we're 2-5, but give us one of the wins. If we were 3-4, bowling would be possible.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was thinking last week, like if we would have won West Virginia or just any of those games, it'd be so fun to like scoreboard watch. Like you're gonna have K-State, Iowa State end of the year. You're gonna be watching BYU to see if they lose. This K-State KU game, like if we had one or two conference losses and you beat K-State, you might have a chance to sneak into the title game. But I don't know. I don't really have that much excitement for Saturday. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think it's one of those things where I just refuse to get my hopes up. Like I can feel it. I'll start thinking about it. I'm like, no, you can't do this. I will not let you get excited. I'm not getting my hopes up. We're not winning. We're never beating them ever.
So, yeah, I mean, AB, correct me if I'm wrong, because you watch a lot more ball than me. But like my issue with not being able to get excited for this game is not all about me thinking KU sucks. Like I actually think KU looked pretty good last week. I feel like this team is going to play better, but I think K-State's good. And I'm like, that's my issue is I think we could play really dang good Saturday, and I think we will, but I just think that they're just going to be better. Like I think we're going to lose not because we suck. I think we're going to lose because they're a better football team and it's a tough crowd, and it's just like that's why I'm having a hard time convincing myself, because I have convinced myself we are going to play good. I just don't think it'll matter.
They always play well in this one too, and it sucks. One thing typically would give me some confidence, but not given the context of this matchup. 97% of the bets are on K-State, and the line hasn't moved at all, really.
It's moved towards us,
10.
right?
It's sitting at 10 right now. I don't know how high it got, but
it was 10.5 or 11 at one point.
So, but again, that's not including the context of K-State. Regardless of how much better they are than us, they still come out ready to fire. Surely we'll have a muffed punt in the second quarter that leads to a touchdown after we think we're in it for a little bit. That's
what I was on a K-State podcast last night, and it's every year. Like K-State, first off, they're always good on special teams, and then second off, it always happens in this game where KU is the team that fucks up. Like they'll score a touchdown, they'll block a punt, score a touchdown. In the last two matchups against K-State, KU's muffed a punt.
And we even stole Sean Snyder. I still can't believe we lost last year. I mean, it wasn't completely because of that, but for us to actually have Sean Snyder on staff.
He threw it.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this play all the time. 2 years ago in Manhattan, we get a stop to start the game. He muffs the punt at the 1 yard line. Like, sure, we probably weren't going to win, but when you're already in that environment and that rivalry and the odds are already stacked against you and you just hand them 7, like that's just deflating. And then we don't even need to talk about who last year, but a muff punt last year.
He tweeted about it.
That was therapeutic for me to see Rich Miller say like, hey, I just want you all to know I think about this all the time too. I'm sorry. It's my fault. And it helped me get over it a little bit. I'm not over it. I'll never get over it. I think it's one of the top 5 most painful plays I look back on as a sports fan. But it did help me to just see him say, hey, you know what? Hand up. I dropped the ball on me. I'm sorry. So I appreciate
Jim Calhoun.
Rich Miller.
I fucked up.
Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, that last year's game, I'll just why are we doing this? But we were supposed to win that game. In every movie you've ever watched, every TV show you've ever watched, that was the what's the word? Coronation? I don't even know. Where it all comes together. It's the final scene. You've now the rebuild is complete. You've wearing your incredible black uniforms. You've got an entire stadium full. We were supposed to win that game, and it just I don't know. That's all I got to say about that.
I mean, we know the plays. Every KU fan knows the plays. That like we'll never forget them. It's been 14 straight years. And I don't know. It sucks, but we talked about it. It would make up for it winning in Manhattan. And probably would spoil their Big 12 title hopes. Obviously, winning is way more important than ending the streak, but winning in Manhattan would absolutely make up for it, especially a year where they have a chance to make the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, I think winning in Manhattan would make up, like, I would probably get over last year's game pretty quickly. Even though, like, us fans deserved to win that game, but
Guys, we
deserved to
haven't
see
beat
that.
them since George W. Bush was in office.
Now watch this drive. AB, okay.
Can't
So
believe they did that.
to get all-time video, to get to get to the like detail, like I guess not details, but like actual football. Let's get out of depressing fan mode. Football wise, for a guy that knows ball like yourself, watches ball. I mean,
Plays the balls.
B-turn, you gamble,
Consistently.
you watch. You guys know a lot more. Like, is there anything about the way we play and the way they play where we could start to talk ourselves into, oh, wait, maybe that's a weakness for them or that's an opportunity for us? Like, is it just, I don't know, how's their run defense?
I don't know. My only hope going in is that it's Avery's first like rivalry game as a college kid, and it's at home, so it's not going to be like crazy environment. But the only hope in my eyes is that he just has his freshman game against us, and our experience on in the back end messes with them a little bit. But at the end of the day, like it's not just him. They've got experience at running back. Their run game's crazy. Avery looks really damn good. They're going to be big and strong and great up front. Like, I don't have a lot of confidence. I don't know how you could.
Yeah, that's kind of the scary thing with Avery is he got banged up in Boulder, left the game, came back in, and then at West Virginia, in Morgantown on Saturday, it was like a 2.5 3-point spread, and I kind of was skeptical with K-State because I had heard Avery's going to kind of be limited and he's not going to be moving around at all, or just making plays with his leg. He literally didn't attempt to run the football one time. So he was forced to make throws against West Virginia, who their secondary sucks ass. But he made all the throws. I think he threw for close to 300. Another scary thing is DJ Giddens had an off week by his standards last week. I think he only had 60 rushing only. But I think there's only been like one running back that's done anything against them this year, and it's the Tulane game. Like Colorado had 19 rushes for negative 15 yards. I know they can't run the ball, but their running backs had like 7 carries for 11. The other one had like 7 carries for 9 yards. Arizona couldn't run it on them. CJ Donaldson averaged like 3 yards a carry last week. So they're really good against the run. So it scares me because JD's going to have to make plays with his arm. And I just don't know how to feel about JD. Like, does a good game against Houston give us confidence? He hasn't turned it over in 2 games.
I actually feel pretty good about JD.
Because you can absolutely get K-State's secondary. I'm not saying they're god awful, but you can get them.
And look, JD has, it's so annoying to me that K-State fans can now say we told you so, because the takes they had about him heading into the season were all last year. Like, it was crazy. It was so strange how much that fan base hated on Jalen Daniels. The thing that sucks about it is him being so bad early in the year, like, allows them to flex their muscles. And I still don't think any of it was right or fair. Like, nobody saw it coming, JD being as bad as he was. But if JD was a true gamer, he could go out and get the ultimate revenge and put on a freaking show. And like, that's the only way I can convince myself is that we just get superstar Jalen Daniels from 2 years ago, or even like last year, Illinois, I guess.
Because he was even great on his feet last week too. So he made plays with his legs, and it's obviously his best game of the year throwing it. Arizona State, I didn't get to watch much. I don't think he turned it. He didn't throw a pick at least. He had just thrown so many to start the year that
is that like, do you guys think our way of winning is like keeping up with them and turning it into a high scoring game, or do we want to like I don't know. That's the only way I can see it happening. I don't see us winning like a disciplined, low scoring football game.
Mm.
I just
Yeah,
can't fathom that.
I don't like. It's just tough because their run defense is so good. I know we have two really good backs and we can run it effectively, but can you really just can you just pound it all game on them and kill clock? Like, I don't know. So that's why I'm saying JD, maybe if it isn't with his arm, maybe they get themselves in 3rd and 3, 3rd and short situations, and he can pick it up with his legs. I mean, dude, we've seen the flash. I mean, we've seen JD be amazing for a couple of years, and we've had these same receivers. I don't see why it would be such a huge issue to move the football. I'm not saying their defense is really good, but you have the weapons, and I feel like our players have been kind of chirping a lot about this game since we lost last year. Like Kobe said plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
And
they better they better stop because
they better stop.
This has been a bad look for a lot
Well,
of
that's
our
what I'm
teams.
saying. So they better wake up and they better show up. And it sounds so stupid, but maybe winning this game could make up for the shitty season. I know that's like loser mentality, but maybe it gives you some momentum going forward, helps in recruiting. I don't know, but I'm just they have to show up. If they get blown out in Manhattan on Saturday, because these guys, we talked about it, this whole team is full of seniors. They've all been here since 2019, 2020. None of them have beat K-State. A lot of the games haven't even been close. So Devin Neal, Lawrence kid, grew up KU fan, has a chance to actually, he's 72 yards away from becoming the all-time leading rusher at Kansas. So he can break that Saturday against a good run defense. And I don't know, in the streak, that would be one hell of a legacy for Devin Neal, how he stayed and ends up ending the streak against K-State.
Yeah.
How do you think we'll look back on this season if we do win?
That's what I was going to say. Like,
sorry, right? Like, is it better to not get our hopes up throughout the entire year and get all hyped up to get heartbroken, or just know early on in the season that all of our dreams or aspirations for this team are just done, and now we can just be like, fuck it?
I'd rather option A.
I know. I'm
just
just
out of 1,000. It's just
I just like, what do you look forward to the rest of the year? As shitty as that sounds, because we've been at the bottom for so long. We've had defeated seasons.
But here's my thing: if we win Saturday, I think this season. I guess I don't know how we would look back on it, AB, but like if we win Saturday, we're convincing ourselves we're beating Iowa State, and then we're convincing ourselves we're beating BYU. Like all of a sudden this season will turn into something that is at least another week after. If we can find a way to win Saturday, we will convince ourselves that this season matters, that we can go somehow, I don't know, make a bowl game. We'll probably talk ourselves into finding a way to Arlington, which will be hilarious.
Can you imagine finishing like one game out and just thinking about the games we've blown?
Yeah, well, I was going to say this earlier. Like, remember last year how hung up we were on that Oklahoma State loss? Like, all year we were just like, if we just didn't lose the Oklahoma State game. Imagine, I would do anything to have one game that I was hung up on. That we took Oklahoma State from last year and times it by 5. It's insane. What would you guys rather have on Saturday happen? Would you rather we play really well and lose on like a last second field goal, or like, knowing us, we'd probably give up a touchdown in the final minute? Would you rather that happen, or would you rather just kind of lose like 31-14 and just kind of play bad?
Dude, the heartbreakers suck, especially against a rival. Like the year we went and convinced ourselves when we wore the shitty uniforms, it did. The whole day just sucked, but later that night, you're like, okay, well, we got pumped. Like it was never.
Yeah, the game was over before me and you got in the building. The game was over.
And there's been plenty of blowouts in this rivalry for years now. So, I mean, last year, you can't tell me last year didn't hurt way more than probably any other loss against them since 2000 since
Oh.
Reesing left.
Ever.
Like, it felt like someone died. It felt like my dog died. Like
that
we did the dumbest things. We were up 2 scores, about to be 3. If catch the ball.
I don't know if I've said this on the pod. I was telling people this. I think that is like a butterfly effect moment in this life. Like if Rich Miller catches that ball, I think we're 5-2 right now. It's butterfly effect. I think that dropped pick spiraled things. I think Kotelnicki's at Penn State because of it. I think I'm just kidding, but seriously,
Dude, how good was he? I said it last night. Like he was so good that we somehow found one thing to complain about, and it was the sugar huddle. And Carter gets on here and says he loves it.
Oh, I know.
Like we couldn't complain about anything. He was that good.
Well, he was so good. We were like, God, he gets so cute with it. We're
like
KU
Andy.
football. Why do we care?
It's like
I
Andy
love
Reid.
that.
Like one of the best play callers ever, and we get mad that he gets cute in the red zone, which he does. It drives me nuts.
That fake punt made me want to stop watching football altogether. I mean, it's we can rant about this if you guys don't mind. A, leave the ball in Mahomes' hand, or B, just punt it and let your defense dominate from inside the 10. Didn't matter because Brock Purdy stinks at life, but
Iowa State.
Well, I'm fired up about the Chiefs more than about KU just because it's like people don't want to acknowledge what they are. They've got an awesome defense, and their quarterback's going to be just fine once the games actually matter.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were being negative. I'm like,
No,
I feel like
I did
the Chiefs
too.
are getting near enough hype right now.
I've never felt more confident about the Chiefs team than this year.
No.
I'm not kidding.
I feel like they are the most underrated 6-0 team seeking a three-peat. Like, it's crazy. I don't know, but
and obviously people talk about Mahomes and having more picks than touchdowns, but this dude's, I mean, people would already say he's better than Tom, but he's chasing Tom. Like the whole goal is to win more rings than him. I know it's going to be insanely difficult, but do you think Tom Brady ever gave a fuck about his stats? The answer is negative 1,000. He would have 120 passing yards in a playoff game, move the chains, kill the clock, defense would get stops. Like, why in the world would Patrick Mahomes care about his numbers every week in the regular season where Andy Reid's not trying to show anything?
Well,
save it all for the playoffs.
They're 5-1 against the spread too. It's not like they're winning these squeaker games at the end. They're more or less controlling most of these games. And
their defense
they just don't look very good. Their defense is so good.
I mean, the Baltimore game, they really didn't do shit besides a couple fluky plays to Likely, and like they shut down Atlanta for the most part. They shut down San Fran. I know Ayuk left the game, and Debo was like dead in the hospital.
No, he might play on Sunday, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane, and it's like ugly and it's weird, but we know where they're going to be in January. They're going to like it. I don't want to jinx it because I feel like I'm good at that, but it almost feels like it's like a guarantee. Not a guarantee, but there's a very high likelihood that they're the 1 seed in January.
It's a guarantee.
Which means, well, the only reason I don't say guarantee is because they play Buffalo, and Buffalo has 2 losses. So you lose that, you're only 1 back, and then they have the tiebreaker. But
I'd be more worried about Houston.
All right,
Buffalo
boys.
For that.
We're way too deep into
Sorry.
NFL talk here. I can't do bracketology for the NFL playoffs.
Long story short, at the end of the day, it's going to be mid-January. It's going to be mid-January. They've got the best defense in football, the best coach in football, the best quarterback in football. They're going to be fine.
AB, tell us if Cornell is going to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Well, we get a bracketology update.
We got to talk Hawks basketball here in a bit.
Here we go again.
And that's another spoiled team I cheer for.
Wow.
Like we're going to be top 5. Bill, I know the last few years has been or every tournament loss has been tough lately. But
all trends point to this team being sick as hell, being a 1 seed. If you look back
for a year.
If you look back on the history of times when Bill Self has lost back-to-back seasons in the second round, what happens the next year? Good things. Really, really good things.
Okay, what about the history of us being preseason number 1?
Who cares? That has nothing to do with this.
Sure, here we go.
Yeah, but if you really want to go down the line, because last year injuries, were they the number one team in the nation? No, but like that team that finished the year was not even close to the same team. 2000, what was the other one? Oh, 2019, Doak gets hurt. We started a bunch of freshmen, probably didn't deserve to be number one overall that
We
year
started
either.
a podcast. Yeah.
2004 or 4 was Langford. So I was 05. I can't keep those years straight. Self second year,
You're supposed to be
Langford,
good at this.
Simeon, those guys senior year. That one, we'll consider that them being Roy Williams guys. That's why that season fell apart. But they did start 20-0 or whatever they did that year.
So one positive thing I
21.
will say about the roster, and it was a concern of mine. I've been saying it for literally a year now. Bill said he's going to try and keep KJ Hunter and DeJuan under what, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that?
I think he said under 30. I was going to send it to you, but
He said that. I don't pay
Yeah.
attention to anything anymore.
I really
I mean,
don't either. I was lucky to see that one on the For You page. Shouts, Elon.
well, so yeah, he said that, and that's all. I mean, as we screamed at each other during the offseason, AB, about how we're just going to run it back with almost the same starting lineup, all the same guys that we said didn't fit well together. Like, yeah, I was in full agreeing. I was agreeing with you that if we play KJ and DeJuan 38 minutes a game, this team will not be much better than last year's. But there is no way Billy Eugene Self is going to do that. He didn't go out and get the guy. We got, what's it, Diggy Coit? Is that his name?
His nickname's Diggy.
Yeah, coolest name in the world. You think, I mean, this guy's got to get some minutes. Sounds like he's been, I will be so disappointed if we see DeJuan and KJ playing 35 plus minutes a game.
Yeah, and it's nothing against them, but try to make them as effective as possible, and that's obviously lowering their minute. You can't have three guys on the floor clogging spacing or creating spacing issues offensively, and two guys that really aren't a threat to score outside of. I mean, DeJuan could shoot, but they're not even going to look to shoot or be aggressive. So, Bill Self obviously is going to adjust, but he's talked about it. They brought multiple guys in. They brought three guys in that hit more threes last year than anyone on last year's roster. Like Zeke's hit 90 plus threes back-to-back years. Bill has really
Bill Self loves Zeke Mayo.
Yeah.
It's
Lawrence,
getting the like Quentin Grimes level of love though, which is
I hate when he does this. Like he did it with El
Hey,
Marco.
It's going to be the best guard we've had here since Mario, you know.
Yeah. And then those ones never pan out. When's the last one?
Yeah, but at least this one's not a freshman. Like he's seen this guy's real college tape.
Yeah.
I guess.
I believe it.
I have a question. What kind of odds can I get on a DeJuan Harris senior year Frank Mason bump? Not exactly 20 a game and 50% from three. I'm talking about like that kind of leap where he takes like a giant next step after he's kind of been more or less the same guy his first 3 years. 4 years, I guess.
4.
Yeah.
I don't know,
because
man.
he's not going to be as aggressive. He's not going to do what Frank did. But I'm just saying, in terms of like, we think we know who he is. He comes out and he's like, because I don't know about you guys. When I saw senior year Frank, I was like, it looked like a completely different basketball player, even though he played a serious role for his first 3 years.
Dude, that shit was insane. Like freshman, sophomore year, Frank was kind of a psycho, like out of control, putting up layups around the rim with like 3 7-footers hovering over him. Like his senior year was ridiculous. We talk about he was like 50% from three. Even the Oregon game, he was like unbelievable in that game. Well, I guess with that team, like we didn't know who our go-to scorers were going to be. Like Dite, it was after his sophomore year, we weren't sure what kind of leap he was going to make. You had Josh, who was a huge freshman, but we were skeptical about the one and dones. Josh was obviously awesome. And then Landon was never a go-to scorer. We're still waiting on Svi. I guess with this year, I feel like we kind of know like Hunter's going to score it and get there's going to be a lot of volume. He's going to get a lot of touches. I would think AJ Storr. So I don't like, do we need, obviously you would love it, but do you need Juan to really separate himself as a scorer? Like, do we think he's going to try to?
It doesn't even have to be scoring. Maybe just more in like terms of more consistent with controlling like turnovers or defense. Be the
I was trying
sophomore
to
year
think
DeWan
of
defense
like
we saw.
I think of like this is a weird comparison because they are not similar players at all. But like I think about senior year Travis Relaford, he went from like really solid defensive player, no offense really his junior year, but senior year he was sneaky, like made his open shots. He was incredible in the open floor. I remember like he just had one of those years where you could tell he was kind of got that senior year bump that you see guys get where they just something seems to click for them.
Why does that team get slept on or never talked about when we get all upset about winning national titles? Like I feel like we don't even talk about that team having a chance, and they were a 1 seed,
and they were up 13
it was a fluke.
But
I'm just saying obviously you lose T-Rob and Ty, but you had like elite Ben McLemore, like pretty good every night. And then you had all those seniors that had played on the team that made the title game. You had Trav, Jeff, Elijah, and like Perry was solid. Kevin Young was still scrappy. Like I feel like they don't even get brought up. We bring up.
I think there's an element
17.
to it because we made the Final Four the year before. And like it's always been easier to stomach a tournament loss fresh off like a good tournament year, especially the one like 2012 that was like incredibly fun. But yeah, that team lost 3 in a row at one point during the season. Like that was just a weird year.
That was crazy shit going on.
That team was very good.
I was going to say, we talk about 16 where Perry was obviously insanely good and Wayne. What would, in a series, best of 7 or best of 5 between 2013 and 2016, like, are those teams close to even? It's like, yeah, Perry's Perry, but he's not like this dominant beat.
Well, and the thing is, Jeff Withey was a freaking problem. Like I don't know how that 2016 team scores inside. Like,
yeah, and you have Ben, who, Ben's probably, he has to be more talented than anyone on that team, just from a talent standpoint. And then Trav, Elijah. Like Elijah, he was kind of hit or miss. I feel like he was really good. I think
that's also part of the reason he was kind of bad that year, other than that Iowa State game. Like
that's when 16 was like when I feel like we were starting to fall in love with Frank and Dite. Like they weren't who they were yet. And then we'd waited on Wayne. I don't know. Those teams, I feel like that'd be a decent matchup. We don't talk about 13, and that's like one of the most devastating losses just because how it went down. Game was over.
Yeah. 10-second in the backcourt foul.
From Las Vegas.
Blocking the ball up.
I know.
I'm just kidding. Kidding.
I don't like what would like satisfy you guys from DeWan this season? Is it just like really limiting the turnovers and locking in defensively more than ever, or shooting more jumpers, finishing around the rim more? Like, we're not asking him to go average double figures or 15 a night.
I want him to shoot when he's open. Like, that's what always drives me insane about DeWan is he's going to get a lot more open looks this year, or should, because we actually have some players that can shoot the ball around him for the first time in a while. So, like, the thing that will really frustrate me is if you start seeing teams really crowd in on Hunter and, well, I just keep picturing a life of us playing 4 guards around Hunter, and I need to stop. I keep forgetting that we're just going to roll out KJ. But that's the thing. He's still going to get a lot of shots, and if he's passing those up, only for us to settle for something worse, that's going to really, really annoy me. But
is Hunter gonna throw more bullets into the stadium into the stands this season? With double team the old lefty. No, but if we have 4 guards around him, you can't dig down low and double him. Like DeJuan, yeah, he doesn't shoot, but I'm looking now 40% from three as a junior, 38% as a senior. Yeah, he's a super
Mhm.
senior. Like, why does it?
Yeah,
He's
he
o,
is.
he's over or he's 0.8 for 2.1 from three the last 2 seasons, like on the dot. So volume hasn't went up whatsoever, and we
It's like
needed
AB said,
more
he has been
scores
the
last year.
exact same player since his freshman year. And the thing that really concerns me about DeJuan and expecting him to have like a huge jump is if there was ever a time we needed DeJuan to like be a little bit of a scorer and take control and like be a guy, just be a gamer, it was last year. I just do not think we saw that out of him at all. And that was really his senior year. Like he was at the age of, I don't know. I think this team's going to be a great fit for what DeJuan is, which is like a guy that wants to just control pace and distribute. I think we're going to see good DeJuan just because I think this team fits what he is a lot better. But I will also say, I think about this a lot. I think about a lineup of Zeke Mayo at point guard, Rylan Griffin, AJ Storr. Who am I forgetting?
DeJuan.
Well, no. I was thinking of a scenario where it's just 4 guards around Hunter. 4 guards that can score around Hunter. I guess I'm probably thinking I guess you play maybe it's Diggy Coit. I love that name.
They got Shaq Moore from Mississippi State. I don't know. I don't think he's really like an electric scorer.
Yeah.
I mean, God, Hunter's going to get so many touches and looks this year. If he can shoot it like he did or anywhere near like he did to start the season. I remember us talking about like how lights out he was from three, and then he went on like a 0 for 23 stretch from three.
What do you think, AB? Hunter's like been an all-time villain. Everyone hates him. The narrative could be, I'm not saying it, but some could say he's never won anything in college, never been on a like truly winning team.
Whoa.
Do you think he could be like a guy that finally figures it out all around senior year and kind of locks in and is just like an extremely he's pretty efficient as it is, but like
it's the same thing that you said about DeJuan though. Like last year he could have done it. Last year was his 4th year, right?
But I think last year he had to it was so reliant on him. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
what I'm
I
trying
mean,
to say.
I think there's a chance. I don't know. I keep thinking of Svi too as another guy that had a big senior year bump or last year bump.
Look at this legend.
Oh,
who's in the
my
chat.
goat!
I just saw that. I love him. I love you.
Sorry, go ahead, AB.
No, I'm sidetracked now thinking about golf on Friday. Sorry.
But we play Arkansas on Friday.
Friday, right? Yeah, Friday at 7?
Is it 7 or 8? I can't.
Who's their head coach now?
Musselman's back, I hear. There's
Nolan Richardson.
What about Flory? A lineup with Flory in there?
We've got some boys out Friday.
Wait, what'd you say? Oh, yeah, we're very banged up, right? I don't think Hunter's going to play Friday.
I don't think Hunter's playing. I don't think Ryland's playing.
Yeah, Ryland's hurt. Yep, Rye, you were talking about lineups. What about 4 guards around Flory? Flory's just running the floor, easy dunks, and just a menace on the glass, and just giving us 5 threes per possession. We're just firing. Why don't we just shoot 40 threes a game like BYU? Remember how insane that was? Hunter missed like 20 free throws in a row somehow, and then they just started firing.
Yeah, I would love that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Bill, because I think someone said it in the chat earlier. Maybe it was one of the Kyles. Like, we say it every year, and I'm the biggest one to say it, is Bill Self's not going to play more than 7 or 8 guys. But I was trying to think, if he's saying he doesn't want to play KJ and Hunt or DeJuan more than like 30 minutes a game, that's gotta mean I guess you could say are 7, or let's call it 8. You have a backup big, like call it Flory or Clements. You have a backup point guard and Moore or Diggy. And then this
That's
team has
all.
too many good players. I can't. Oh, I guess Jamari, will he redshirt? Somebody asked. I hope he does.
Yeah, I just don't see a role for him, and I feel like you're so deep that it wouldn't even get to that point of him actually seeing real playing time. So I don't really know what the redshirt situation is, but I mean, it makes sense. That's kind of been a topic or a theme for a couple months now since we added so many guys.
Can
Like,
I mention a lineup that's erotic to me that you guys are gonna hate? That involves Dwan Harris, KJ, and Flory on the court at the same time. Because I think that might be the lineup if we're like up 4 in the final minute. Like, let's get Hunter's slow ass out of there and let's go.
Or like a full court press when you're
Freak
down
athlete.
10
Yeah,
with
dude.
5 minutes left. I could see that.
That's some energy right there, and it's disgusting, but it's beautiful. And also, while we're talking about disgusting basketball, I'd be remiss if I did not bring up Mr. Tony Bennett, my legend, my GOAT.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else.
I don't like it.
I do have takes. Go ahead, AB. He's your legend, your GOAT, but I've got takes on a lot of these coaches.
Yeah, I think we're on the same boat here. I won't steal your thunder, but you can go ahead.
Well, I'm just so tired of like, oh, this new era of basketball. Tony Bennett, would you be retiring if you were good in this new era of basketball?
He has been good. Look at his ACC finishes the last 3 or 4 years. Yes,
not since NIL. When's the last time they had?
Not true. They won the ACC like 2 years ago.
But maybe it's like because he can't get the guys because they don't have
do
the
in
money.
He had the best. He had his best transfer portal this year.
Well, he had years to think about.
I feel like Virginia hasn't been.
I don't get. It's unreal.
Been relevant.
Like the season literally starts.
They're
in a couple
not national
days.
championship relevant, but they've been like top 3 in the ACC every year.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, like, they won the national title in 2019, and then college basketball has kind of shifted since. And I just feel like Virginia has not been as much of a regular character as they were from like 2015 to 2019. So it's like when I see people saying that, like, I at least respect Jay Wright. He went out on top, basically. And I think if Jay Wright wanted to, he would have innovated and he would have figured out how to win in this era also. Whereas like a lot of these other guys are just like, oh, I started sucking at coaching, so I'm going to blame this new era. Which I'm not saying Tony Bennett sucked at coaching, but he wasn't.
Took a step back at least.
Yeah, took a step back. So it's just like, I love that Bill, and I'm sure Bill gets annoyed on the back, like in the background. This does have to suck for those guys. But I secretly think Bill Self loves this new era because he gets to go find guys like Hunter Dickinson and Rylan Griffin and AJ Storr after a season like last year. Like, I think he is a competitive guy and he likes trying to innovate and master this new version of basketball. Like, I don't know. It's crazy Tony Bennett did it at the time he did. I was convinced there was going to be some scandal like the next day.
You cannot do that. Like, literally
crazy.
Just finish the season and then do it next year. Like, you literally just spent your entire offseason with that team over the summer, workouts, whatever, recruiting all the guys you did. Whoever they might have got in the portal, I have no idea. But it
like,
just
I'm actually
feels insane to me.
I thought at first there was going to be a big scandal that came out. Well, then it's like now I'm like worried. Is the guy sick? Is he ill? Like, is someone like? It doesn't make sense to do it at the time he did it.
Do you think he did it so his head assistant would just get the job?
Oh, nobody.
Like, do you think it was?
Yeah.
You think the wheels were in motion on this for a few months?
Wait, did they make that official?
Well, I'm sure he's an interim. He can't really hire a brand new guy right now. So we'll get a
I
year,
thought they were like. I thought they thought Cooley was like getting the job as of last night, and then today Ed Cooley said that wasn't true. But like there were people tweeting that they were deep in negotiations.
I saw one guy tweeted he had like 1,200 followers and like a fake Bleacher Report tag. It's easy to get it because it's Twitter's the worst. But
blue check marks being allowed for everyone after our brains were brainwashed for a decade that you had to be like a real person to have a blue check mark. It has changed the game, and I am
Brutal.
far too old to figure out Twitter or X or whatever it's called.
My timeline is just off. Like there's nothing like here and there stuff pops up that like Chief stuff or KU, but there's so much shit that is on my timeline that I'm just like, how is this here and why? Like
Yeah,
it's just there's so many bots, there's so many trolls, there's so many burners.
I miss the old days. Twitter back in the day,
Oh.
man. I'd
God, it
do
was
anything
so
to have
good.
it back. Elon ruined it. I had to mute Elon because that algorithm makes sense, but boy, does that algorithm favor him. Every tweet is blasted in my face.
Oh yeah.
So
I blasted in my face, Elon.
So, what else do we have on KU K-State? We got a little sidetracked there. I don't have much else.
I've
think
got
I'm
something
going-
not related to that, but
Well, yeah, we got one more topic we need to talk about probably, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, we haven't hit our hour half mark yet. We got 40 more minutes, boys.
you want me to go ahead with the topic that we need to talk about?
Well, do we think we have the same topic?
Probably.
Oh, I know
Because I
ABs.
think I'm going to start with mine, and you tell me. I think it's time, boys. We clap it up. LeBron James, first father
not what I was gonna do, dude.
to share the floor in NBA
I was-
history.
I
and
was
you
just
love
going to
see it.
congratulate you on starting your own company. That's all I was going to talk
Oh,
about.
wow. See? Shows
Nice
It's
on you,
100%
man.
what I was going
I'm a
to do,
friend.
dude. That was, yeah.
Ain't No Seats podcast, sponsored by Denali Financial Group.
Big time. Are you driving
thank
in Denali now?
No, I'm
Should.
not. I feel like that'd be weird now.
Yeah.
Different
branding too is tough, but
honestly though, what are your actual thoughts on the Bronny thing, Rye? Like it just I know it's LeBron, and I kind of do feel bad for the kid because he does get just abused on like social. I know, but it's like it's not his fault. Like it's not like
no, I was gonna say like, I mean,
he's fine. Yeah,
go ask any 20-year-old basketball player right now if they could be, go play for the Lakers.
Yeah.
And sit, I mean, worst case, practice with them and sit courtside for their games. Like, everyone signs up for it. So I don't want to hear that if people feel bad for Bronny about this, because, like, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I don't even want to go after him. Like, it's not his fault that he's not good enough to be in the NBA. Like, I think that's fair to say. But it's not his fault that all this attention is coming to him. It comes to one guy, and his one guy is LeBron James Sr. And I will call him that because, after he named his son Bronny, but said he's going to wear a different number, so he had just made sure that people didn't know that he was LeBron James' son, even though his name's Bronny James.
Different name.
Here, well, my point is LeBron's the one. It was a photo op for him last night. That's what it was.
Well, yeah. And so my take on it, B-Turn, is one, this is a move that is not cool now. Like, well, I think to me, it's more of like the reason I love it is not because I think Bronny James and LeBron playing together is awesome. What I think's awesome about it is that LeBron has a son old enough to play in this game and is still playing at the level he's playing. Like LeBron's going to play 3 more years. So that part of it I love as a guy that thinks LeBron's a GOAT. This just helps the argument.
Lucky you,
Second
AB.
thing, the second thing is the photo shoot. Yes, like it's lame, it's forced right now, but in 15 years, nobody's going to really remember.
I will.
How forced this was. Yes, you
pod
will.
This pod will still be talking
AB wrote
about
it down.
October 22nd, 2024.
But like in 20 years, people are going to be like, holy, LeBron played with his son? And then, it'll probably be like, well, his son never played another NBA minute. And that's the thing about Bronny is I think he just doesn't like that. I think he would rather play video games all day. He's a billionaire's son that loves to stream and play video games. I think he just doesn't love basketball.
It doesn't look like he does. Like, I don't want to act like I know how he feels about basketball or just judge him off of his body language or emotions. He literally doesn't seem. Maybe it's just that he's not obsessed with basketball. Like obviously LeBron is, and he's obsessed with taking care of himself. But I don't see it with Bronny, and he's still young as shit. So who
And
knows?
it just doesn't. He doesn't need basketball. Like, and I guess a lot of pros' sons have had that same. Could have had that same mindset. But my last thing, and I've said this before, but it cracks me up how people are like, "Oh, LeBron got his son." Like it's so nepotism. It's like every front office, every team, every company, every place you've ever been in the world has a son that has worked his way up somewhere. A lot of it because his dad was good at his job.
I don't
boy.
necessarily completely agree with that take, but also if we're comparing it to other businesses and stuff, there's not a set amount of players you can have in that business to work at that title or whatever.
I think there is though. Like
No,
in
there's
a
not.
business,
If you wanted to hire
in a-
6 guys, you don't have like a max on your roster that you can have.
you
If
got
can
to
afford
afford payroll. You got to
it.
like you
That's
can't
just a
just
different question. The Lakers are poor. They were the only team in the NBA that requested some government money back during COVID, which is fucking hilarious.
But my thing is like at a business, if a guy makes his son the VP of sales, you can't have 2 VP of sales. There's a better VP of sales sitting out there, and a lot of people choose their family to fill those roles, which is fine. And I know it's very different, but
I'm
to me, it's
cherry-picking.
also it's like a power move by LeBron to just be like, yeah, I play for the Lakers, and I'm going to literally force you. I'm also 40 years old. I'm also going to force you to take my son who's nowhere near ready for the NBA, and then he's going to play a couple minutes with me so I can do this photo shoot. Like it's corny, it's forced, but it also just shows how incredibly good and powerful LeBron is.
If we've learned anything about 40-year-old guys taking over complete ownership of their organization and making them make moves that they shouldn't make competitively and it not turning out well, we know that's gonna, it's gonna end poorly. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
Oh
So
my God.
we'll just see.
Does he stink? Like the pick to
Why
Garrett
did
Wilson
anyone
wasn't-
think they were going to be good? Why did anyone on earth think they were going to be good? They're the Jets. It's a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles. Like, come on.
I know. and
Who's
then
also
you
just
have-
like
Hadn't been good and since Obama was in office. Or not Obama. Trump was in office. Right? He won the MVP like that,
let's
or
talk
maybe
politics.
the next year.
Let's talk
I'd
politics.
rather get shot in the face.
that's why Twitter sucks so much, dude. I can't do it.
Oh, like why? That's some people think about that. Some people literally they go to bed and they wake up and they immediately grab their phone and think, I'm gonna fucking get behind my burner and attack people about Trump or Kamala all day and just terrorize them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to bed and do it the next day, all day long in the replies. Boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds
and then
fun.
they're gonna do it, and then they're gonna do it for the 6 months after the election too.
Yeah. See, this would have happened if he would got elected.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can promise you whoever wins the other side.
Look at the gas
they
prices.
stole it. Yeah.
I told you.
It's all time
Uh-huh.
insufferable behavior from both
really
sides.
It's really bad.
Okay. Well, we've hit an hour. We didn't really. I felt like we were fair, level-headed when it came to K-State. I've not talked myself into us winning, like I thought I would, but I do think we're gonna play good. I'll be pretty disappointed if we roll over and get blown out. Comment who you're voting for in the chat. Just kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Have fun.
I guess
out
I
there.
forget.
That drive home will suck.
Yeah, no, 7 o'clock's pretty brutal because getting out of that parking. I guess we're parking at Alan's house and walking, so we won't have to deal with parking. But
I need electric content if we win. And
we swear we're going to Aggieville after.
Win or lose?
No, win only. Buddy. No,
Alan's so funny, dude, because speaking of your wedding right after the game, I was so mad, dude. Just the few weeks before that West Virginia game had just boiled up, and that just really took the top off. But Alan was just smiling. Dude, we'll win next week. It doesn't matter. We'll be right back where we want to be.
Dude.
We'll win 5 in a row, and then we're going to make it to the Big 12 title game. Who cares? One loss, we'll win out.
I've done that. I have had that. Imagine
No.
Imagine sitting in the stadium watching David Beatty, Kansas football teams, having a guy next to you be like, "Hey, we're fine. We're fine. Like next week's our time." Like, oh my God. And the guy won't
After
leave.
losing 56-7.
He won't leave until clock hits 0. We stay for every second of those games.
Right. You can't leave now. We've stayed here this long. You watch us go down 40. Why can't you watch us go down 50?
Even on Saturday, we were up. Saturday, we were up 42-14. And there's like 5 minutes left. We're supposed to be downtown for James's proposal. Shouts. And I was like, we figured we were going to be late, but then we were like, hey, I turned to Alan and Hannah, and I'm like, well, we could probably just leave now. We might be able to make it in time. It's a blowout. And he's like, no, we got to stay. So we stayed until clocks hit 0 then. But it was fine. We didn't miss anything, so it worked out. But yeah. All right, boys. Well, glad we could get back together. Proud of us.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next month probably.
We'll see you Saturday live show after the game.
Oh, from midfield, Ryan.
I'll do it from Aggieville.
Okay. I don't see why you and Alan wouldn't get a group of people to storm the field if we won.
Who's going to stop you?
15-game losing streak.
We're the only reason they're going to sell that game out, dude.
K-State fans did that in Lawrence.
Paint the town
Didn't
blue.
they back in the day? Didn't K-State fans like storm our field way back after they? What is that?
Is that you?
I think it might be me. I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I think it was AB.
Is it back?
It just sounded like a train was rolling through your house, but other than that, it's fine. Oh, it's back. We need to wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Someone just commented twice saying 2014 Brandon Green.
Oh, he does it every week, dude.
Wrong thing. It's because Cole asked who. Oh my God, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Cole asked who.
There was two of them too.
Who everyone was voting for.
Oh my God. Yeah, BG. Yeah. Bill Self would vote for him.
Yep.
All right, boys.
See you, boys. Rock Chalk.
We'll be seeing
you next week.
Think we're going.